Alright, one of my followers tagged me in this, and the prompt is pick one power from each row to have in real life. Now, I'm not going for the most powerful build, mainly because in real life, even the most simple of powers, you're going to be one of the most powerful people in the world, so that's assuming I even want to try and be a superhero. But for the first row, I think I'm going to go Naruto, mainly for the use of the Shadow Clones. If I'm going to be entirely honest, most of his other powers I doubt I would ever use. Like, the Shadow Clones are just so useful to not pick. Next row, a character with elemental powers. And due to its sheer versatility, to me it's coming down to either Toph or Yuno. But unless Yuno has something similar to Toph's seismic sense, I'm going to go with Toph. Because just earthbending in general is extremely useful. You could just manipulate entire structures, you could just create things whenever you feel like, and the seismic sense is just so useful for perception. You combine that with the fact that I'm going to have an army of shadow clones, my range for said seismic sense is going to be near limitless. Now, row 3 is an interesting one because each of these have pretty bad downsides. Now, I can't remember the exact downside for Kaneki, but it's a good thing because that's not one of the one I'm going to be picking. But the other 3, with Titan powers like Eren, you're going to die after 13 years. You're a Titan shifter, you die in 13 years. That's immediately gone. So, for me, it is between Inumaki and Dabi. And that's not a hard choice in my opinion, because with Inumaki, you can just affect people as long as they're not too much above your level. Or what you're trying to command is too strenuous. For example, if you simply said, smack yourself in the face, for example, that would barely even give you a sore throat. Honestly, the most it would do is make you have to cough because of like a little scratch in your throat. And unless I encounter somebody that's going to be able to compare in power to me or be significantly above me, especially if I have the powers I'm picking here, then I doubt I'd even be using curse speech on them. I'd be using my other stuff to deal with them. So I'm immediately going with that. Because with Dabi, you use the powers, you're going to be burning yourself. And I don't think any of my characters I am picking have a healing factor. Oh wait, scratch that, Naruto can with chakra. But I'm not wasting my valuable energy on healing myself from a power that actively hurts me. At least with Inumaki, I can just keep using curse speech, seeing as no one would be on a comparable level to me, and even the most strenuous thing I do with curse speech would barely cause damage to me because everyone would be so much weaker. Assume I even plan on using it for those means. Now for the last row, the overpowered and or versatile round. And I'm nowhere near smart enough to fully use Law's Devil Fruit. Ishiki, isn't his power like to change the size of things? Like, that's probably a really dumbed down version of what it can do, but from what I remember, that dude was shrinking and growing whatever kind of objects with just his little special eye powers. Then you've got the Logia that gives you the properties of light, and then Gojo's abilities. For me, I'm getting rid of Law because nowhere near smart enough to use it. Ishiki could definitely be useful, but for me it's between Kizaru and Gojo. And although a Logia is definitely going to be useful, having all of Gojo's abilities, an immediate yes. The Six Eyes is going to give me perfect regulation of my energy. So, all my other powers, I could be spamming them as much as I want. It's barely going to drain any of my energy at all. Then I have the insane defensive properties of Infinity. So, in total, just before I even mention anything else, I could just make an endless army of clones effectively. I could sense my surroundings near limitless range with seismic sense combined with shadow clones. And now they have the ultimate defense that is infinity. Yeah, even if I'm not trying to attack anybody, I would never have to worry about my life being put in danger by a military trying to take me down or whatever. Not only would I be able to have my own little personal army if I needed it, I could sense them coming, and even if they did sneak up on me, which is already unlikely, they have nothing that could actually hurt me. Plus, one thing I didn't mention, with the amount of clones I can make, with the cursed speech, I could just have the clones perform the more strenuous cursed speech techniques rather than the main me. Now that I've gone over my list, what would you guys pick? Again, you had to pick one character's powers from each row for you to have IRL. And you could either factor in as just you having the one character in one scenario, one character in another, or just have the 4 characters you pick together as your IRL self.